This presentation was given to the Greater Cape Town Civic Alliance on Saturday the 23rd of September. Tackling the challenges of a drier Cape Town highlights the circumstances of the current drought, what people are doing to adapt to water scarcity, and some optimism for the future. Water resource management requires a 30 to 50-year plan because water infrastructure requires a long-term investment, as well as the human capacity and commitment to implement these plans. Currently, we have a leaky bucket with too many holes to plug. There are too many priorities, and until now, water hasn't been one of them. There are 4 parts to this presentation. Who should we blame for the water crisis? What are the urban water challenges in South Africa? What can be done to deal with the immediate problem? What can we look forward to? Is there any hope? The experience of drought in countries like Australia and the state of California follows a familiar pattern as shown in this slide. It begins with public accusations that the government has done little to prepare the city or region for the drought. The public becomes increasingly angered by procrastination and delay. As the crisis gathers momentum, there is an extended period of blaming, but then reality sets in. At this point in the sequence of events, the Australian government moved quickly and implemented alternative water systems such as desalination. Public sentiment slowly shifts to reluctantly accept the inevitable, along with the high cost of water. In 2015, the City of Cape Town was awarded an international C40 Cities Award in acknowledgement of its successful water demand management program. Since 2000, the city's water demand has remained relatively stable. It has flatlined rather than risen. Inadvertently, the success of the water demand management program may be one reason for the current failure. Chip Snadden's drawing shows why. The driver of the car is looking in the rearview mirror and is comfortable with the journey so far. Then a juggernaut appears on the horizon from nowhere. The truck's lights are flashing and the horn is blaring, but the driver in the car continues to look in the rearview mirror, and soon we all find ourselves meeting a crisis head-on. So can we blame the crisis on the success of the city's water demand management program? The Western Cape government is a water-scarce region with an average rainfall of between 450 and 650 millimeters per annum, and a poor conversion of rainfall to runoff. Between 2006 and 2015, the daily per capita water use was between 220 and 240 litres. The world per capita is much lower at about 160 litres per day. We have been using an excessive amount of water. So can we blame consumers? This slide shows the city's dashboard of storage levels for the 6 main dams feeding Cape Town on Monday the 18th of September. The crucial target right now is for the city to reduce its water use to 500 million litres per day, which translates to 87 litres per person per day. Could the city officials have read the warning signs earlier? This graphic shows the change in capacity of stored water in the 6 major dams from May 2013 to September 2017. One of the warning signs is when the storage levels are less than 80% by the end of October, such as was the case in 2015 and 2016. We are already way past this point in 2017. The city only implemented level 2 restrictions in January 2016, perhaps too late. Can we blame the officials for not anticipating the drought? Surely more dams should have been built. However, droughts are difficult to predict and preparation for extreme droughts are costly. This graphic from UCT's Climate Systems Analysis Group shows that 2017, depicted on the red line, has the lowest rainfall in 41 years. Arguably, preparation for a drought of the current magnitude would have been difficult to anticipate. The city's proposed interventions are well publicized. These projects are expected to supply an extra 500 million litres per day by 2019. Groundwater abstraction is the immediate target. We are waiting to see the outcome of the tender awards, which will then reveal the kinds of technology and the capability of achieving the volume of water as listed in this table. This is an inconvenient storm. It is forcing new thinking about how multiple factors are linked to water resources. There has been a general failure to understand how these issues relate to water resource management in South Africa. Our cities are changing rapidly. At present, about 63% of South Africa's population live in urban areas. This is where 80% of the country's economy is generated. By 2030, over 70% of the population will be urbanized. The majority of the urban population will be young, and at least a third will be unemployed. Professor Ben Turok's words in the National Planning Commission report of 2011 paints a harrowing picture. By 2025, our cities could be more congested, more polluted, and more socially fractious. How could water transform our city to avert this kind of failure? There is no undo or restart button. But could water play a much stronger role in transforming the future design and spatial plan of the city? How should we face this drought? Saving water is obvious, and for now, it's the only game in town. However, there is also an opportunity to learn how to adapt to a long-term water-scarce strategy. Social media has been a marvel. Public-spirited contributors have been sharing all kinds of ideas and practical tips. Facebook sites such as Watershed in Western Cape are populated with useful information and practical ideas. Here is an example of some of the humor on social media. A new perspective on downsizing. And more humor. How to feed water effortlessly into the toilet cistern. There is also plenty of advice on rainwater harvesting techniques, where to buy tanks, and how to connect a harvesting system to different parts of the home. The drought is also opening new opportunities, for example, in using digital monitoring devices to manage water use in the home. The data are captured in real time and made available on display monitors in the home or on cell phones. If nearly 3 to 4 times as much rain falls on Cape Town than what is currently demanded, then surely we should see the city as a catchment in itself. How could we capture, store and manage water more effectively without compromising the ecology of the city environment? Can the city become more water sensitive? This slide shows how water is at the heart of a residential area. Singapore's Public Utility Board is leading the world in building water-sensitive cities. These initiatives are premised on the slogan of conserving, valuing, and enjoying water. There is a lot to be said for changing the language of water threat and risk into one of enjoying and valuing water. Closing the loop on the urban water cycle means capturing sufficient rainfall, reducing evaporation, and enabling better infiltration. It also involves reusing water such as stormwater and treated effluent. We need to change the way water is managed in Cape Town. Here are 5 high-level ideas. We need a widespread commitment to equitable, livable, and sustainable cities. Water and vegetated corridors must be seen as integral to the city's health, its amenity value, and the survival of ecological systems. We need trustworthy governance systems that enjoy the full benefit of public and private partnerships so as to enjoy development in a low-water economy. We need to integrate the water-energy-waste nexus seamlessly. And finally, we need future water infrastructure, operations and management to contain a mix of centralized and decentralized systems. This is a scene from Singapore. It was once a canalized river with low-rise houses on either side. The canal has been removed. The initiative has made room for the river. The new high-rise accommodation overlooks a beautiful garden park, truly inspirational. Conventional engineering practice will take stormwater and put it into a pipe and drain the water as quickly as possible. Water-sensitive city design takes a different approach. In this picture, the stormwater is fed through a rain garden, which then filters and cleans the water. The University of Cape Town's Future Water Research Institute is doing some innovative work in stormwater management. In this project at the Franschhoek Water Hub, large biofiltration cells are treating contaminated water from an informal settlement without the use of chemicals. New research in water management is slowly entering the digital age. In these photographs, the researchers are installing devices that are the eyes above the water and keep track of flow every few minutes. This is a small success story. In 2011, the Friends of the Liesbeek encouraged the growth of reeds in a canalized section of the river. Within 5 years, the ecology of the river improved remarkably. Neighbours alongside also took greater interest. They made a small garden area, planted vegetables, and started engaging with homeless people living near the river. These are positive impacts as a result of improving public open space. Finally, 3 questions. They sum up some of the challenges in dealing with the drier city of the future. How can we adapt much faster to sustainable water resource use and management? How can we ensure leadership, political will, and a public commitment to building water-sensitive, sustainable cities? How can we fund the investments required to shape an emerging green economy?